Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today we're going to do my week 17 NFL power rankings as we get closer and closer to the end of the regular season. Playoff spots are getting wrapped up, teams are getting eliminated, and some very interesting dynamics are starting to show up in these conferences. So as usual, we have our 6-tier Super Bowl division wildcard meh, bad, and booty. And let's go ahead and get started with the Arizona Cardinals, who got defeated by the Atlanta Falcons in kind of like the nothing game of the week where no one really cared what was happening in this one. So yeah, no, the Falcons able to beat the Cardinals there. Actually, both these teams are here, so let's just talk about them both in bad tier. Actually, Falcons will go up in meh. I think the Falcons are meh this week. But yeah, the Cardinals, absolutely brutal season. I think they lost their rookie Walter Nolan for the rest of the year with the injury. Yeah, this is a team that is going to fire a head coach and get rid of Kyler Murray. As I've been saying for weeks, not really much about this team. They keep things scrappy, which keeps them out of the booty tier, but they're just not a very good football team. Whereas Atlanta, past couple weeks, they've shown something here with Kirk Cousins as quarterback. They're currently 6-9, so again, not the greatest team in the world, but hey, they're playing some solid football here at the end of the year, preventing the Rams from getting a higher draft pick, I'll tell you that, which is very, very helpful. Thank you, Atlanta, for playing better. Next up is Baltimore. I'm also putting in meh. Just a disappointing loss against the New England Patriots. They had a massive lead. Derrick Henry was running all over the place. And then when you lose Lamar Jackson with injury and have Tyler Huntley, your response is not to run with Derrick Henry more, who's been dominating all game, but instead to let Tyler Huntley just throw the ball all over the place and lose you the game and lose to the Patriots. Very, very disappointing. Basically fighting for their playoff lives this week against the Green Bay Packers, where they need to win to get in, has a chance of making the playoffs here, but I highly doubt the Ravens are, and this might be the end of the Jim Harbaugh era. Next up is Buffalo, who I'm still having in Super Bowl tier, but come on, barely beating the Browns. Guys, what the heck? That's not a good look for you at all. So, I still believe in Josh Allen and this team, but after the big win against New England last week, the Browns were kind of a disappointment there. Next up is the Carolina Panthers, who I'm putting in wildcard tier, just because I think they are the best team in the NFC South. I mean, Tampa Bay has no life at all, really, but yeah, the Panthers are going to be one and done in the playoffs because they're going to play either the Rams or Seahawks or 49ers and get absolutely obliterated. But still, a very good year so far for Carolina, taking that next step. Next up is the Chicago Bears, who I'm not putting them in Super Bowl tier yet. The reason being is because it took a miracle comeback to beat the Packers backups, which I'm great for Chicago for being gutsy, keeping the game close and everything, but they did benefit from a couple of fluke circumstances, especially with the onside kick botch, which apparently only the Packers ever do. But I will say, this team is scary. They win these close games. They are always in there, and they always find some way to pull off bull crap at the end of games to win them. Now, is this sustainable in the playoffs and into the future seasons as well? Who knows? We'll see. But I guarantee you, no one other than Green Bay wants to play Chicago. Because one, we want revenge on this past Saturday, and also it's just great football. But yeah, no, Chicago, there's just something a little bit off where I don't view them as top tier Super Bowl teams. They can definitely make a deep run in the playoffs, but I just think a team that's more experienced would take them out, if that makes sense. But still, great season for the Bears. Next up is Cincinnati, who I'm putting in bad. I mean, they blew out a pretty bad Dolphins team, not starting Tua, 45-21. Showed Joe Burrow can still sling it, but that's about it. Just another lost season in Cincinnati. We'll see if they keep Zach Taylor. I mean, I would hope they would fire him and get someone better and build up this defense, but this is Cincinnati, kept Marvin Lewis for 17 years, so no guarantees there. Next up, Cleveland. Still in booty. They show some fight against a really good Buffalo team. I will say that. Only losing by 3, which is pretty big there for Cleveland. But yeah, not the greatest of teams in the world. Also not the greatest of teams. Dallas got absolutely curb stomped by the Chargers there. What happened to this offense? I thought the team had an outside chance of sneaking into the playoffs with the way Dak Prescott was playing, but they just haven't been that great recently, and the defense has taken a step back. So yeah, still a very interesting season for the Cowboys here. Next up is the Denver Broncos dropping down to division. They got stomped by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Absolutely stomped. The defense does not play well. After last week's close game against the Packers, where even when everything went wrong for Green Bay, they let Packers stay in the game way too long. Yeah, maybe Denver showing a bit of signs of fraudulent playoff team, but still, good year for Denver. Playing really good football, so they're up there in division. Next up is Detroit. That was a rough one against Pittsburgh. You guys really, really needed that to stay ahead in the playoff race. So now, if the Packers win or you guys lose just one game, you're eliminated from playoff contention. And that would be a big fall from grace for this Detroit Lions team. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens. They play Minnesota on Thursday Night Football in a must-win game for Detroit. I will say, though, they're probably going to win this game because the Vikings starting Max Brosmer. But still, everything has to go right for the Lions to make the playoffs. Next up, Green Bay. Wild card. Just an absolute heartbreaker of a loss. That was completely avoidable if they just, 1, executed better in the red zone, or 2, Romeo Doubs was able to catch an onside kick. Nothing else for me to say about that. Just absolutely brutal loss, but they got pretty favorable matchups coming up. The Ravens might be without Lamar Jackson next week, and then they play the Vikings, who probably won't have J.J. McCarthy either. So, 2 very winnable games. The Packers just need to win one of them to make it into the dance, and who knows what can happen if the playoffs happen. So, up there in wild card for Green Bay. Next up is the Houston Texans, who barely beat a Raiders team. Still put them in division tier, because right now the Jaguars are the division leader, but I do think the Texans, with this excellent defense, can make a deep run into the playoffs. But, yeah, interesting that they let the Raiders hang around too much there. I mean, Ashton Jeanty had a really good game against the stout Texans defense, but still did enough to get the win. They are still alive in the division race as well, but it'll be interesting to see how it happens down the stretch. Next up, Indianapolis. Still a wild card. I mean, they played pretty solidly against the 49ers for a bit there. Philip Rivers is trying to keep this team alive with any semblance of arm strength he has left, but I don't think it's going to happen this year, which is very funny considering they made an all-in trade to get Mr. Sauce Gardner, and then it did not work. So, yeah, up there in wild card for now. Probably going to be a meh by the end of the week. But Jacksonville, I'm moving up to Super Bowl contender. I know it's crazy to see, but they've been playing excellent football these past few weeks. Beat up Denver, who I had as my number 2 team last week. They're just playing really, 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 really good football right now. Trevor Lawrence is playing the best ball of his career. And with the way this team is playing in this wide open AFC, why not Jacksonville, to say the least? So, up there in Super Bowl. Going down into bad, because I still think the very bottom of bad, is Kansas City. As they lost their backup quarterback. Actually, I'm going to put them in booty because of who they lost to. They lost their backup quarterback to an ACL tear and got blown out by the Tennessee Titans. Yeah. They're in booty tier. That's where I'm putting them. Because if you lose to the Titans, you can put them in booty. Especially now you're down to Chris Oladokun, whoever the heck that is, as your starting quarterback. Yeah. Rough. That's rough, buddy. Next up is the LA Chargers. Don't put them in wild card because I think their ceiling is capped. I don't think they're going to make a deep playoff run. Probably might win a wild card game, but that's it. But big win against the Cowboys there. Clinch a playoff spot for the second straight year. Playing some solid football. Justin Herbert still playing well, so up there for LA. Next up is the Rams, who dropped down one spot in my tier. After an absolute classic game against the Seahawks in overtime. where they did lose, but still, great performance by Matthew Stafford, who's going to be MVP. Big concern about your defense, kind of just letting Seattle do whatever they wanted at the end of the game there, but still, I think this team is going to be one of the final 2 teams left in the NFC. It's going to be a very, very fun playoff run for this Rams team here. Next up is the Raiders, who they didn't get blown out this week against a playoff caliber team. Say that. Ashton Jeanty had a really good game. That's a positive. Not really much else to say about the Raiders. So they're down in booty. Next up, Miami. Bad. They're bad. Got blown up by the Bengals there with Quinn Ewers as quarterback. I don't think that's going to work long term for you, Miami. I don't think that's going to work. So down there in bad. Maybe Mike McDaniel gets fired. Who knows? Next up, Minnesota, who was able to get a slight victory over the Giants there. Going to put them in meh because they're still very... They can play spoiler to the Lions and Packers these next 2 weeks. They're very capable of doing that, especially with this defense. But we'll see how the offense goes if Max Brosmer has to be the starter going forward. But they're meh. They're definition of meh. Next up, New England. Bit of a scare this week after losing against the Bills they let it come from behind. They let the Ravens get out to a big lead, but they were able to come from behind and win this game with Drake May playing really, really good. But Trayvon Henderson did leave an injury, something to keep an eye out for the future. I think this team is, I'm putting the Super Bowl tier, but they could very easily lose in their first playoff game because they're just very, very young. But still, a great season for New England there, playing some good football. Next up, New Orleans. Blew out the Jets. I'm actually going to put them in meh. They're playing some really, really good football right now, building up a good culture there. They're 5-10, but with the way they've been playing this past couple weeks, they're playing really, really good. So keeping them meh. Tyler Shaw is proving that he is the real deal, playing some good football for him. Next up, New York teams, both in booty. Not much to say. Vikings beat the Giants very closely. Abdul Carter showed he is playing really, really good football, so good on the Giants on him. And then the Jets, what the heck are the Jets doing? No one knows. No one knows what the Jets are doing. They're just being bad. Let's just say that. Next up, the Eagles in division tier. This team is going to be dangerous just because of their experience, but I don't know. It's just something is off about this Eagles team, even though they did beat the Commanders by double digits. It's just something feels off about this team, and I can't quite put my finger on it, so they're staying in division. Moving up to division tier, it's Pittsburgh. Took care of business against Detroit. Granted, they almost blew at the end with the final drive they almost gave up, but hey, they're one win away from winning the division and making the playoffs. And who knows, they're going to be frisky in the playoffs. I can see them making a potential run there, so Steelers in division. My number one team this week, though, is the Seattle Seahawks. They took care of business against the Rams and have the inside track to get the number one seed in the NFC. If you told me that the Sam Darnold-led Seahawks would do this, I would have laughed at you. But Sam Darnold, having a really solid year, granted he has had a turnover problem this year, but hey, it's been working. They've been winning games. The offense is dynamic. Defense can play really well. I think it's going to be them or the Rams to make it out of the NFC because those are, I think, the clear 2 best teams. So up there in Super Bowl tier is the Seahawks there. Next up, San Francisco. I'm going to put them in division. Playing some really good football. Brock Purdy had an excellent game. Where are the 49ers? Yeah. Excellent game on Monday Night Football against the Colts. Defense was able to get the Phillip Rivers offense down in the second half. But yeah, San Fran, again, very dangerous team this year. Even with all the injuries they have had, Kyle Shanahan is coaching the heck out of the team there. My opinion, I think he should be coach of the year with how much he's had to deal with him or Liam Cohen of the Jaguars. But it's probably Ben Johnson, the Bears. Granted, all 3 deserve to win the award. But yeah, they're in division for me. Next up, Tampa Bay, meh. Very much a meh team. I just don't understand how you can lose. This team has so much potential to start the year, and then everything just fell apart. We're talking about Baker Mayfield as MVP through the first 5 weeks. And instead, they're fighting for their playoff lives against the stinking Panthers. yeah, not much to say about that. Next up in Booty is the Tennessee Titans, who they got a victory over the Chiefs. Right now is about building culture and trying to show that, hey, we're a cool destination for a hot head coach to go to and try to, not screw up Cam Ward's future because he's showing that he has the stuff to be a franchise quarterback. They just need to keep building around him because Cam Ward, I think, has it. He has it. And next up is Washington. Very much definition of bad. I mean, they kept it close for a decent bit against the Eagles with Marcus Mariota, but they had to put in Josh Johnson after he got hurt. How's Josh Johnson still in the league? I don't know. But that is my tier list this week in Super Bowl. We got Seahawks, Rams, Jaguars, Patriots, Bills. Division is Bears, Eagles, Broncos, 49ers, Texans, Steelers. Wildcard is Chargers, Packers, Lions, Colts, Panthers. Meh is Ravens, Cowboys, Buccaneers, Falcons, Saints, Vikings, Saints. Bad is Bengals, Cardinals, Dolphins, Commanders. And Booty is Browns, Chiefs, Titans, Giants, Jets, and Raiders. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.